Hey everybody, this is Tracy, and we are here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Real Housewives of Potomac Season 2, Episode 6, which was titled Messy Games. So the show picks up where it left off last week. We're at Monique's barbecue slash spades party, and she has kicked Gizelle out of the party, and she realizes that all the other ladies are missing from the table. So she goes around front to see what's going on, and she finds them talking to Gizelle. So we start off where she and Gizelle are basically going back and forth. And so Monique, is telling Gizelle that she, invited her to her house and she was being disrespectful. And she tells Gizelle that she's jealous of her, that she's very distant and she's an unfriendly woman and she just won't have that negative energy in her house. And Gizelle is like, fine girl, I was getting ready to leave, and she's acting like she's being unbothered about being kicked out of the party. So after Gizelle leaves, then the rest of the women go back and they're like having a good time. And I think Chris says something to the effect that he cooked all that doggone food and they're going to enjoy that food. So they're playing spades and seem to be having a good time. And then all of a sudden, Ashley, I guess, called the other women over. And so she's talking to Karen and Charisse about, actually, she was sitting there and she noticed that Juan kept texting on his phone. He was getting text messages and responding. So that's where she got Karen and Charisse off to the side. And so, she's basically telling them that, Robyn deserves better and Juan is, has been seen out with other women and talking to other women, and she just thinks that it's unfair. And so they are basically, telling her that they understand, but she really needs to mind her own business. So Charisse kind of gets tired of it, and she says that Ashley needs to focus on her own marriage and that failing restaurant and stop worrying about Robyn. So then Monique notices that, they're off to the side, and she's tired of them messing up her party. So then she starts playing music and, trying to get them to dance and have a good time and stop with all the petty gossiping and carrying on. So then in the next scene, we have Karen and Ray, and they go to visit a realtor named Wendy, who is responsible for selling their house. So I guess they wanted $2 million for their house, but they've already lowered the price to $1.8 million, and they're still not getting any buyers. So Wendy says that they need to do an open house. But Karen is like, nobody's going to be tramping through her house, and that her neighbors are going to see that there's an open house going on, and then they're just going to come over and be nosy and try to find out what's going on and see, everything that she has. And she says that if they want to come into her house and know what she has going on, that's called a dinner party, not an open house. So she tells Wendy that she's opposed to doing the open house, she's opposed to lowering the price, and she is opposed to having signs out in her yard, advertising that her house is for sale and that, they have an open house going on. So Wendy is pretty much feeling like her hands are tied, and how in the world is she supposed to sell this house if she can't let nobody know that the house is for sale, and even if they are interested, they can't come into the house to look at it. So then later on in the show, we learned that Karen finally agreed to do like a private showing for the house. So sounds like an open house to me, but I guess she didn't put the sign out. But somehow Wendy has been marketing that the house is for sale and that people can come in. So they have this black couple that come, and so we have this juxtaposition of Karen and Ray riding around town, while the people are inside looking at the house. And so she's talking about how beautiful the house is and it's worth $2 million, and, about all these wonderful details that the house has. So when they go to the couple that's looking at the house, the lady is like, this house is very outdated. Would they be willing to lower the price? Would they be willing to throw in some upgrades? And then she said something about the floor or the countertop was marble. But then the lady showing the house, I don't think it was Wendy, it was a lady with Wendy, I believe, who said no, that it was what is this? It was like a lower grade. It wasn't marble, whatever it is. So I don't know what's going on with Karen and this house, but I think that she's going to have to sell this house at a loss, because it is not worth as much as she thinks it's worth in her mind. And then she was talking about that chandelier that Ray had bought her for her birthday or her anniversary or something, and that lady was like, that chandelier got to go. So very interesting how, we love our homes and we think our homes are fabulous, but that doesn't mean other people are going to agree with us. So then we have Gizelle and Cal, and they meet up to discuss her makeup line. And so they were at breakfast, and Gizelle ordered them 2 granola dishes. So I'm like, what the hell is a granola dish? So when the food came out, it looked like a granola bar with some whipped cream or something on it, and some raspberries and blueberries and strawberries. So I don't know if grown men eat stuff like that for breakfast, but Cal seemed to be okay with it. So, Gizelle is testing out the makeup on him, and he's telling her, how fabulous it is and how natural it feels. So then the subject changes to Monique's party, and Gizelle is being petty as usual. And so now it's gone from Monique having 4 houses to Monique has 17 houses. And, she's like, just really put off by Monique and doesn't understand why Monique doesn't like her. And then she starts talking about how tacky it was that Monique had a fish tank in her kitchen. And I'm thinking, like, Gizelle, you worry about the wrong thing, because who cares if the woman has a fish tank in her kitchen? Like, maybe she likes her fish and she likes the fish tank, and she likes how the fish tank looks in her kitchen. Like, what difference does it make? Does it make you poor and ghetto that you have a fish tank in your kitchen? I don't know. So she also goes on to say that she feels sorry for Robyn, based on what Ashley was saying. And then she's also basing her opinion of Robyn's relationship and Charisse's relationship on her experience with Jamal. And she's talking about how, people was telling her that all this stuff was going on with Jamal, but she wasn't believing it. And then when she found out that it was all true, just how hurtful it was. So she feels that she can be a help to these women because she's already gone through all this stuff, and she knows what it feels like, and she can relate to them and give them good advice on how to handle their situation. So then we move over to Charisse, and she has decided to go dress shopping with Ashley. And she says that even though Ashley gets on her nerves, she does have great taste in picking out evening gowns. So when she gets to the shop, she introduces herself to the shop owner. It's a lady named Hilda, but Ashley hasn't gotten there yet. So then Charisse starts trying on dresses while she waits on Ashley to get there. When Ashley finally shows up, she, is critiquing the dress that Charisse has on, that it was too much fabric and that Charisse is too short for a dress that has all that material. So you can tell that Charisse didn't appreciate that. So she went and changed back into the clothes that she wore there and said that she was kind of over the dress shopping. So then she decides to sit down and talk with Ashley about minding everybody else's business and telling her that she's just being messy, repeating gossip. And so Ashley, she's defending her actions and saying that, she's a true friend, and a true friend is going to come back and tell you what the streets are saying, and it doesn't matter if it hurts your feelings, if you don't like how she tells it, but she would not be a true friend if she didn't bring it back to you. So Ashley, she goes for the jugular, telling Charisse that she's an old, desperate woman who spent the past 4 years of her life in denial, pretending like her man and her were, in a good marriage and that they were okay. Then Charisse lets her know that she's about 5 seconds from whooping her ass. I was like, oh my God, not in the little lady boutique shop. So the two trade barbs, and Charisse questions whether Ashley's man, as old as he is, could even produce enough sperm to make a baby. And then Ashley says that Charisse is menopausal, and that's why she's acting the way that she's acting. And then Hilda, the shop owner, just wants to know why they had to come to her shop to have this fight, that they could have did this somewhere else. So then we move over to Robyn. And so Robyn and Juan are getting ready to do a radio interview on the show called The Brett Hollander Show. So the Brett guy obviously knows the both of them, but he seems kind of uncomfortable when he's doing the introduction, because it was like, aren't y'all divorced? Like, why are y'all still here together? And so he refers to Robyn as Juan's partner. So he kind of left it open, like, they could be partners as in boyfriend, girlfriend partner, or they could be partners in this basketball camp that they are there to promote. And so, they go back and forth, and Juan and Robyn have a lot of good chemistry, a lot of positive energy between each other. So I can't really understand what their issue is and why they can't make this relationship work. I mean, dang, you're still living together. He's paying all the bills and you're doing everything together. So why not just say, let's go and get married again and be done with this foolishness? But this is the game that they want to play, so we're going to roll with it with them. Oh, and while Robyn was in her confessional, she does say that she doesn't want to confront Juan about the rumors, because if they are true, then this little fantasy life that she's living would be over, because there's no way she could stay with him knowing that he's out, dealing with other women. And so like I said, I'm really confused with these two and don't know why they won't just try to make their relationship work and get back together. Then we have Charisse, and she goes over to Gizelle's, because remember Gizelle told Cal that she was going to get Charisse and Robyn together and, talk to them and let them know that she knows where they're at in their lives right now. So once the ladies sit down, Gizelle tells Charisse, about the rumors of Jamal's infidelity and how it affected her. And she said, like, she was in the grocery store one day and the lady at the checkout line, was telling her about Jamal and what he was doing and just how hurtful it was. And I guess Gizelle's storyline this year is, how she's going to be this self-made woman who's going to be independent on her own and never have to rely on a man again. And so it kind of sounds a lot like Sheree's story from Real Housewives of Atlanta, how she was just going to build this empire and have her own house and have her own money and do everything herself. And I guess the only difference is Bob was willing to come on the show for Sheree, but I don't think that Jamal's going to be coming on the show for Gizelle and pretending like they're going to get back together. So Gizelle's kind of out there on her own with this one. So Charisse tells Gizelle, about the fight with Ashley at the dress shop, and the two decide that, it's their job to sit down with Robyn and discuss, the Juan situation, and that it's not Ashley's job. And I think I said earlier that this was when Gizelle had planned to get Charisse and Robyn together, but it wasn't. She met with Charisse, and then her and Charisse decided to meet with Robyn later on. Monique and Chris finally get some more airtime on this episode. So they're going to sign the papers for the house that they found in Potomac, and Monique made sure to let us know that they're paying $4.7 million in cash for this house. And so the realtors that's handling the transaction is actually their pastors. And so the conversation goes from the house sale to marriage counseling to Jezebel, which was Gizelle. She called Gizelle Jezebel. I didn't call Gizelle Jezebel. I was just saying what Monique called her. So anyway, Monique says that Gizelle reminds her of Chris's mom, and she starts to cry because she said that she always had to prove to Chris's mom that she wasn't there for his money or his fame, and now she feels like she's reliving that again with Gizelle because Gizelle, seems so accusatory. So the pastor wife, I can't remember what either one of them name was, so she says that Monique doesn't know Gizelle's story or why Gizelle acts the way that she does, the same as Gizelle not knowing what Monique's story is. And so you have to meet people where they are and just not be ready to attack all the time. And then the husband says that Monique needs to apologize to Gizelle for putting her out the house and for calling her a trick, and says that, she's a Christian, so she has to be the bigger person and make the first step to resolve these issues and try to reach a common ground between the two ladies. Gizelle arrives at Charisse's house, for the intervention with Robyn, and she meets Charisse's assistant. And then she turns her attention to the tiara that Charisse is wearing. So she has on like a diamond crown on her head. And so Charisse explains that she may have been drinking too much in the champagne room that isn't finished yet. So Robyn arrives and she is happy to see Gizelle and Charisse are friends again. And then they bring up Ashley and her concerns about the relationship, and that kind of like killed the whole mood for Robyn. Robyn says that Ashley sits in a glass house and throws stones at people, and that she was supposed to help her with an event, to reintroduce that or have like a reopening of the Australian restaurant that Ashley and her husband opened. But she says now she doesn't even want to work with Ashley on rebranding the restaurant. And so Gizelle decides to bring the conversation to what they invited her over for. And Robyn says that she hears the rumors all the time. And Gizelle inserts her 2 cents by saying that Robyn isn't getting what she needs and that Juan isn't putting her first and whining and dining her and treating her the way that she deserves. And she also says that it can't be all about the kids, that Robyn has to want more out of life. And so Robyn defends her relationship, saying that Juan actually wants to get back together, but she doesn't want to do that right now. But she never could give a good explanation as to why she doesn't want to try and make things work again. And I think something came up about Juan. I guess their relationship, their marriage ended because Juan cheated on her. So maybe she's afraid to marry him again and then have that happen all over again. So she says that if she is okay with the way they're living and their arrangements, that other people shouldn't be worried about it. And she adds that it makes no sense to spread their coins over 2 households, that, she likes that the fact that they're all in one house and all the money is staying in that one house. So Gizelle says she can kind of understand that. So Charisse suggests therapy, and Robyn says that she isn't broken and that they need to mind their own business. So I can understand where Gizelle and Charisse are coming from, because nobody wants to see their friend in a situation. So, we're taking our past experiences and looking at the situation and thinking that we know everything that's going on and that our advice is the best advice. But sometimes you just have to let people go on their own journey and just be there for them, to rejoice if everything works out the way they want to, and to console them if it doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, it's Robyn's life to live, and she's made this decision for herself. And the women need to just stay out of it, respect her decision, and let her do whatever she's going to do. So that is it for me. What did you guys think about this episode? Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I hope everyone has a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.